Today, before we try to solve anything, let us just sit together and understand something very important. What really happens when we watch a lot of content? And the same question, what happens when our children keep watching content or keep playing on the phone? Because if we don't understand this clearly, we may react, but we may not guide. Let us begin with ourselves. Just think for a moment when you watch something you enjoy, maybe a video, a movie, a short, or a reel. What do you feel? You feel good, right? You feel engaged, interested, involved. Now, quietly ask yourself why. It is because your brain releases something called dopamine. Don't worry about the word, just understand the feeling. It makes you feel good, and even more than that, it makes you want to continue. Not just enjoy, but continue. Now, something very natural happens next. If you keep watching the same kind of content again and again, slowly that excitement becomes less. Why? Because your brain says, I have already seen this. So now the brain starts looking for something else, something new, something slightly faster, something that feels more engaging. Now just pause here and gently bring your attention to your child. When your child is sitting with a phone, watching, scrolling, playing, what is happening inside? The same process, but happening again and again very quickly. Small moments of enjoyment coming one after another, and slowly the brain starts getting used to this pattern. There is something else we need to understand here. These apps, these games, these platforms, they are not random. They are carefully created. There are people behind them who study behavior, attention, habits. They understand what keeps a person engaged. So, what do they create? They create a flow where one thing leads to another, and then another, and then another. There is always something next. And because of that, it becomes very easy to continue and very difficult to stop. Now, let us gently come to the real concern. If a child spends a lot of time in this space, what begins to change? First, the brain starts getting used to speed because everything on screen moves very fast. But real life doesn't. Real life takes time, learning takes time, understanding takes time, even a simple conversation takes time. So, slowly the brain begins to prefer quick experiences over slower ones. Second, attention begins to shift. When the mind is used to constant change, stillness starts feeling uncomfortable. So when something is calm or slow, the child may feel bored. Not because they cannot focus, but because they are not used to that pace. Third, learning feels different. Real learning asks for patience. It asks to sit, think, and try again. But on screen, things move forward very easily. So the child may find it harder to stay with one thing for a longer time. And fourth, emotions. Children learn how to express by talking, by listening, by being with real people. But if a large part of their time is spent on screens, they get fewer chances to practice this. So sometimes they may struggle to express clearly or understand others deeply. And slowly, as they grow, situations that need patience, listening, understanding may feel a little challenging, not impossible, just unfamiliar. Now, I want to say something very clearly. This is not about labeling a child. It's not about saying something is wrong with them. The brain is still capable, still strong, but it starts getting used to a certain pattern, a pattern of quick engagement rather than slow involvement. So the real question is not, is my child doing well or not? The real question is, what is my child getting used to every day? Because what we repeat slowly becomes our way of thinking, and this is where awareness begins, not with fear, not with guilt, but with understanding. We don't need to remove everything. That's not the goal. The goal is balance. The goal is to gently bring children back to real conversations, real play, real thinking, and even quiet moments. And maybe, just maybe, the first step is not to control the child. The first step is to pause and become aware. Because when you see clearly, you respond differently. We will talk about what we can do, how we can create that balance in the next episode. For now, just observe. Observe your child and observe your own patterns too. Thank you for being here.